You pick up your phone to check one thing, just one, a message. The time, maybe nothing at all. 40 minutes later, your thumb is still moving. You don't remember deciding to keep going. You don't remember choosing any of it. So you tell yourself the obvious thing. You tell yourself you have no willpower. That's the easy answer, and almost everyone believes it. But the real answer is far stranger, because you were never in a fair fight. The thing in your hand was built by people who study exactly how your self-control breaks, and it has already studied you back. To understand why you lose, you have to go back to a quiet room, a single marshmallow, and a 4-year-old who was about to teach the world something it completely misunderstood. In 1972, a psychologist named Walter Mischel ran an experiment at a preschool on the Stanford campus. The setup was simple. A child sat alone at a table. In front of them, a single marshmallow. The deal was this: you can eat this one now, or if you wait until I come back, you can have two. Then the adult left the room. What happened next became one of the most famous moments in all of psychology. Some children grabbed the marshmallow the instant the door closed. Others held out. They covered their eyes. They sang to themselves. They turned around so they couldn't see it. They sat on their hands and waited for a reward that felt like it would never come. And here is the part that made the experiment legendary. Mischel and his team tracked some of those children for decades. The ones who waited, the story went, did better. Higher test scores, healthier weights, better at handling stress. The lesson seemed clear and almost biblical. Willpower is destiny. The child who can resist the marshmallow becomes the adult who can resist everything. You have probably heard this story before. You may have used it on yourself. When you fail to put the phone down, a voice says you're just one of the kids who grabbed the marshmallow. Weak, impulsive, lacking some inner strength that better people have. But what if that's not what the experiment actually showed? Because in 2018, a team of researchers led by Tyler Watts, Greg Duncan, and Hounan Kwan did something the original study never could. They ran it again, this time with hundreds of children instead of a few dozen, across a far wider mix of backgrounds. And what they found quietly rearranged the whole picture. The link between waiting and later success was much weaker than the famous version suggested, and most of what remained could be explained by something that had nothing to do with willpower. It came down to the child's environment, their family's income, how stable and predictable their world was. Think about what that means. A child who has learned that adults keep their promises, that food will still be there later, that the world is reliable, can afford to wait. Waiting is rational. The second marshmallow is real to them. But a child who has learned that promises break, that what's in front of you can vanish, that later often never comes, is also being rational when they grab the marshmallow now. They are not failing a test of character. They are responding intelligently to a world that taught them not to trust the future. So the marshmallow test was never really measuring willpower. It was measuring trust. It was measuring whether your environment had taught your brain that waiting pays off. And this is where it stops being a story about children and starts being a story about you and the small glowing rectangle that you check more than 2,000 times a day. Because the device in your pocket is running its own version of the marshmallow test on you. Every single time you reach for it, except the people who designed it did not want you to wait. They built it so the second marshmallow arrives instantly, infinitely, and just unpredictably enough to keep you reaching. To understand how that works, you have to meet another scientist. His name was B.F. Skinner, and in the middle of the 20th century, he discovered something about reward that quietly powers almost everything on your screen today. Skinner studied animals pressing levers for food, and he found that the most powerful way to keep a creature pressing was not to reward it every time, it was to reward it sometimes, randomly. A press might give food or nothing, or a jackpot, and you could never know which. He called this a variable ratio schedule of reinforcement, and it is, by a wide margin, the most addictive pattern of reward ever found. Why? Because uncertainty is the hook. If you knew the lever gave food every 10th press, you'd press 10 times and stop. But when the reward could come at any moment, you can never stop because the next press might be the one. Your brain leans into the not knowing. It floods you with anticipation, not at the reward, but right before it. Now think about what you actually do with your phone.